Today, we're really getting into a kind of blueprint for success, how to make it big, and maybe more importantly, how to make it last. We've pulled together a bunch of sources that lay out this playbook focused on strategy, career, and how discipline really shapes your financial world. So our mission today, we want to analyze how ambition, discipline, and what the sources call like incredible patience, how those things build a real legacy. We need to see how this very structured approach works, but also critically look at the challenges that come with it. Because as we often find, right, the thing that makes you strong can also create some major blind spots.
Absolutely. What really jumps out from this material is the intense focus on the long game. The the mountainous ascent, as you might say. This isn't about quick wins. It's almost anti-trend, you know? It's about building something solid, something time doesn't just wash away. So our analysis today will look at whether this structured sacrifice now for later approach is actually sustainable, especially now, or if that very rigidity creates roadblocks down the line. It's going to be a serious look, but a balanced one, I think, into what high achievement really takes.
Okay, so let's start with that foundation. What our review shows is that success for this kind of strategist, it comes from almost instinctively thinking long-term. The core traits popping up again and again are ambition, discipline, and yes, that incredible patience. You just understand the horizon better than most. So while others might be chasing the latest trend, the viral stock tip, the quick pivot, whatever the newest bubble is, you're keeping your eyes firmly fixed on the summit. And the source have made a big deal of this distinction. The goal isn't just a job, it's a legacy, something lasting.
Right. And if you connect that to the professional world, applying that kind of calculated long-view thinking, well, the data says it makes you a natural master of the corporate world. You're not looking for what's new and flashy. You're aiming for proven stability, for excellence. And this approach, it gets heavily rewarded in certain fields, doesn't it? Fields where structure is everything. The sources specifically mention things like high-stakes business, finance, management, complex legal areas, specialized engineering. Basically, any way that vision, clear hierarchy, and just sheer hard work are how you move up. You become that go-to person when things absolutely cannot fail.
And it's not purely technical skill either, is it? Our notes really highlight reputation as being key. Critical, even. It's built through what they call unwavering reliability and a deep commitment to excellence. This means you're willing to put in the hours, make the sacrifices now to guarantee that secure future later.
Sacrifices, yeah, that's a key word.
The sources give this great example. It's like, you're not just playing chess while others play checkers. You're playing this decades-long game of strategic territory capture. So you might pass up a big immediate bonus, say, if it means locking down a core client relationship that ensures stable income for the next 5 years. It's trading that high-risk, high-reward gamble for something more certain, more durable.
That's a perfect way to put it. That reliability becomes your brand. And that brand gives you access. Access to capital, to the big projects, to positions where trust is paramount. But all that reliability, that focus on durability, it sounds like it requires serious financial discipline too.
Which brings us right to the money side of things.
Yeah, shifting gears to the money strategy. That same disciplined approach, it translates into a really almost ironclad financial philosophy. The research basically calls this approach the ultimate money manager, the best steward of resources. Exactly. We're talking about someone who saves naturally, invests very prudently. There's an implicit understanding of planning. It suggests you probably started thinking about retirement, about long-term assets really early on. Money isn't for fun, not primarily. It's seen strictly as a tool for building security, for status, not for quick, fleeting enjoyment. It's less about spending, more about strategic capital deployment.
Which, on the surface sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Financial nirvana, right? Viewing money purely as security, as a foundation, lets you build an incredibly stable life, one that can weather storms. But, and here's a thought, if you see money strictly as a tool, does the data show any risk of missing out, like missing immediate opportunities because you're being too conservative with savings?
Yes. That's the rub. That's the critical friction point the sources definitely bring up. The upside is stability, absolutely, but the risk, stagnation. The data warns about becoming too frugal, hoarding resources instead of using them strategically to speed up growth or, and this is crucial, to sustain the very person who's earning all that money in the first place, yourself.
Right. So it's not about just hoarding.
No. The key takeaway isn't go be frivolous. It's about recognizing that comfort, that well-being, has strategic value. You almost have to start seeing certain expenses, things that bring real joy, or mental rest, not as wasteful spending, but as investments in your own well-being.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, if you burn yourself out saving every single penny, your ability to achieve that long-term goal just collapses anyway. It's resource allocation, but for your most critical resource for you.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. Investing yourself as a strategic asset. Okay, so let's shift from the external, the strategies, the finances, to the internal stuff, the internal hurdles the research points out. And the big one, this seems major, is the tendency to be too hard on yourself. And sometimes, yeah, too hard on others too. The danger is that intense focus, that tunnel vision. You get so locked onto the end goal that you genuinely forget to enjoy the journey. And the outcome isn't just stress, it could be a strategic fail. It leads straight to classic burnout, or just that feeling that life is nothing but work. The sources also hint that maybe you struggle to delegate, because deep down, you trust your own discipline more than anyone else's.
Yeah, and we really need to emphasize the shift in perspective the research suggests here. Rest isn't weakness. It's not just a break. It's framed as a critical part of a sustainable strategy for success. The deepest insight, I think, is realizing that building a massive legacy actually requires cycles of deliberate rest. It's optimizing your resources, not retreating. And the solution offered is fascinating, isn't it? You need to schedule your downtime, your relaxation, with the exact same level of discipline you apply to your work. It has to become non-negotiable. Like, if you wouldn't skip a meeting with the CEO, you shouldn't skip your scheduled rest either.
Okay, that makes sense. And while you're ruthlessly scheduling that downtime, maybe take, 30 seconds, to support this deep dive. If you're finding this useful, give this video a like, maybe drop a comment about what insight hit home for you, and definitely subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you these breakdowns. All right, back to that rigidity we touched on earlier.
Exactly, because that ties into the second big challenge, a resistance to change. If your whole system is built on prioritizing the proven, the stable path, you're naturally going to favor the tried and true. You'll be hesitant about new, unconventional, maybe disruptive methods, even if they might be better.
And the implication of being too inflexible.
Well, you become vulnerable, frankly. In today's world, just relying on what worked before, that risks making you obsolete. You could miss huge tech shifts or ignore new market approaches just because they kind of threaten the structure you built so carefully. The sources are pretty clear. You have to learn to be more flexible and open to innovation. It can literally open doors that the old path just won't lead to. Structure is great, but stagnation, that's lethal to any legacy.
So preventing stagnation means internal shifts, learning to operate a bit outside that very structured comfort zone. Okay, let's try and bring these points together. Look at the path forward, incorporating that need for growth. We know these traits thrive in environments with structure, clear hierarchies, respect for authority, total professionalism.
Right. But the future focus, according to the sources, seems less about just mastering that hierarchy and more about mastering influence within it, or beyond it. The key growth areas pinpointed are communication and learning new skills. And importantly, this isn't just about adding more technical know-how.
Okay, so what kind of communication?
It's about honing your ability to share that big picture vision you have, and crucially, to connect with your team on a more personal level. That seems to be the vital transition needed, to go from being just an expert operator, incredibly competent, to becoming an inspiring leader, someone people want to follow. You've got to communicate the why, the reason behind that 10-year strategic chess move you're making.
That makes so much sense. That ability to communicate, to inspire, that's huge. It's your chance, really, to show the heart behind your ambition. It makes the legacy you're building feel less like just a cold structure and more human, more impactful for everyone involved, and arguably that makes the whole thing much stronger in the long run.
Absolutely. When you look at it all together, the strategy laid out in our sources, it really is a masterclass in achievement. No doubt about it. It's fundamentally about building something real, something lasting, through sheer discipline, patience, and that unwavering vision. It basically proves that any goal you set, no matter how high, is achievable if you're willing to apply that level of strategic rigor.
That wraps it up perfectly. This blueprint offers incredible stability, yeah? But it comes with a demand. You have to invest in your own well-being with the same focus you use for your career or your finances. So here's the final thought we want to leave you with, tying that discipline and maybe fulfillment together. What if you applied your deepest professional discipline, the same focus you use for saving money, for climbing the ladder, to strategically scheduling rest, joy, and just personal well-being? Does it then stop feeling like a sacrifice you have to make and maybe start feeling like the most strategic, the most foundational investment you've ever made? Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.